Hello, my name is Joseph Arnold, and I'm bringing my EBP project here today. The title of it is The Importance of Physical Activity on Daily Functionality. And specifically, in older adults over 65, does resistance training, when compared to walking, provide better training for daily functionality? Because in today's times, the older generation, specifically adults over 65, is increasing every year. And with this increase, there it is putting a higher strain on families and healthcare workers. Because as the hippocampus shrinks and gray matter decreases in the brain, uh, the older adults over 65 need uh, need more help and more assistance in everyday needs or everyday living activities, because they decrease in their motor functions on being able to walk. They decrease in planning executive functions such as these, as planning out their day, paying bills, simple tasks even as driving the car. And the lifestyle in the United States, at least while I've been alive, has been getting more and more sedentary, focusing on technology and not much movement. And we already are at risk early on in life to the decrease in the hippocampus and the gray matter with our sedentary lifestyles. And portions of the brain that control motor functions and memory start to decline after the age of 60. And this is by Best, Rosmo, Astein, Tian, Bordeaux, Agnon, and Lee Ambrose, 2017. The benefits of what I bring you here today of either resistance training or walking have two different effects on the body. We'll start because physical activity has been shown to increase cognitive function abilities. These executive functions such as planning, scheduling, working, memory interference control, and task coordination, Corsi and Terre Blanche, 2017. Because resistance training serves better for reaction time than actual memory function and cognitive planning. The resistance training control groups that were in this study showed greatly that their hand-eye coordination speed increased compared to walking, where just cognitive functions of everyday living, and a moderately decent increase to hand-eye, but nowhere near that of resistance training for a 16-week period. And as the brain starts to grow back in this not short period, but 16-week period to start, it decreases the need for assistance because they're getting their motor functions back to walk easierly, start planning their days out even maybe, and decrease their finances also because they may not need that medicine they were on if physical activity is helping them. And with physical activity, there's an overall mental and mood stability increase. There's also the physical health aspects of that allow for longer life, but more enjoyable life, in my opinion. And as I said earlier, it has been shown that walking has a greater cognitive boost than cognitive function than resistance training. And resistance training improves time better than walking, reaction time. And my recommendations to get the ball rolling on this, trying to get the older adults over 65, even 60, try to catch them early, so they can start living a healthier lifestyle instead of sedentary one. Is a conversation needs to develop between the client, the nurse, and the physician. Either the nurse or the physician can possibly start this conversation asking about if they exercise. And if they do exercise, what do they do? And how many times a week do they do it? Because a good recommendation for walking would be at the start 3 times a week, doing it as far as you can go. But the goals would be do it 5 times a week for 30 minutes a day for the best improvement, for the least amount of work. And another thing that would need to happen is asking the client to start a activity journal so they could document what they do and keep up with it and help log them, help them remember it, and then you could ask the client to bring it in on their next appointment, their next scheduled appointment. And the stakeholders that would be needed for this, of course, would be nurses and physicians to start this conversation. This conversation would be a little more personal one because a lot of people don't like speaking of their actual physical activities and what they do. They feel it's a little bad to say that they do nothing sometimes. And another one that was brought and thought of was the in-home healthcare workers, especially in my area, in Barnwell. The older population have a lot of in-home healthcare workers. They take them to the gyms. They take them to where they want to go eat. They're there with them all day. And if they could also help increase the activity of this person, maybe by saying, hey, let's go out for a walk, let's go for a stroll, maybe go outside of the day. And then, of course, finances, because some people may not have any good shoes to go walking in, because as you age, the bones, they don't get better, and walking is always a very strenuous task if you have bad shoes. And also, clothes for the climate that we're in. Maybe they need some help there, or even the medicine that may come along with it. And the model that will be being used for this is the clinical scholar model, because it seems the easiest to get the ball on the road on this, because this is a little bit newer. The studying of gray matter in the brain and the size of the hippocampus, it's just starting to come out compared to the whole science of medical research. So I decided this would be the easiest to develop a plan and get the ball on the road. Thank you for listening to me today. Y'all have a good one.